Hello, podcast listeners.
What up?
If you like what you were about to hear,
And if you don't want us to start taking comps from the man,
you can support us by going to our website,
5uselessdegrees.org,
and clicking on the PayPal donate button.
and we will really love you if you decide to make a sustaining contribution.
Thank you for your support.
And enjoy the show. Welcome to 5 Useless Degrees and a Bottle of Scotch. My name is James Engberg. Old Man River, I don't like pizza. I just want sushi. I gotta watch Game of Thrones while I'm eating my sushi.
Are you done?
Rolling along.
And I am Eric Kilgore, the good husband.
And this week we are reviewing Lakewood Theater Company's Showboat.
And we have a guest with us today. Chris Murray will be here.
And he's bringing the hooch.
He's bringing something. I don't know what.
Well, we'll find out.
Yeah.
All right. And we're going to do some more Drammy Crammy,
Of course.
some more Golden Flask nominees,
Oh, excellent. I forgot about that.
and a couple other things to tell you about.
Excellent.
Welcome to the show. I don't know what to do.
I know.
I mean, this is where we usually drink.
we're waiting for the alcohol to arrive, and what do we do?
I don't even know how to start like this.
We're looking at each other like, what do we do now?
I feel like this is like Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead or something like that all of a sudden.
Wow, how strange.
Yeah, because we don't have any hooch till Chris comes.
Yeah, when he gets here, he'll bring us some booze.
Okay.
Oh, for sake!
Oh my God, with a clock. Let's. You want a Drammy Crammy first, or let's tell people what's coming up. How about that?
Oh, okay, all right.
So on June 6th, you can listen to the Golden Flask Awards right here on our show, where we'll give out some prizes.
That's right.
Yep.
Yep.
In anticipation of the Drammys, our coverage of the Drammys will broadcast on June 13th.
Right.
But before all of that happens,
Yes, sir.
on May 31st,
We will be at the Highland Stillhouse for Ardbeg Day on May 31st.
so that's in Oregon City, and it's an amazing whiskey bar.
Yes.
And Ardbeg Day is an annual event,
Right, to launch the latest edition of the Ardbeg whiskey.
and the designated place to celebrate that is at the Highland Stillhouse.
And I believe on the West Coast, the only place is at the Highland Stillhouse.
Right.
And we will be there from noon until whenever we leave.
Right.
I don't, who knows?
Or can drive.
right. We have to call a taxi.
There's events. There's lots of whiskey
sheep
to taste.
throwing.
There's sheep throwing.
Yeah. Haven't you seen that?
No.
Didn't you see that last year? The sheep throwing?
They're throwing actual sheep?
Well, no. But
Okay.
yeah, like stuffed sheep.
We're going to be talking about Buried Child from Profile that week.
Yeah, and we will be doing the Golden Flasks at the Highland
At the
Stillhouse.
Highland Stillhouse.
Yeah.
So if you're nominated, if you have an opinion about Buried Child, if you just want to come join us and have a dram,
We will be upstairs in the corner somewhere.
They put us in a corner.
Yeah,
we'll be in some dark corner.
Mick said, we'd be up there like we were last year.
Yeah. So
It sounds like fun.
it's going to be great. It's more fun when we have people come around.
Absolutely, it is. Yeah.
Okay. So in anticipation of the Drammys, we need to do a little Drammy Crammy.
Oh gosh.
Just a few, right? Just a few. To
Yeah,
keep up?
just a couple.
Because next week's the
next week. Yeah, next week is going to be the big contest
big Jeopardy
here.
competition between you and me,
Oh,
right?
that's right.
Oh, that's right. We have to come up with those little buzzers. And
So
things,
am I gonna go through all the other ones you've done and refresh your memories?
You're gonna pick and choose.
Not tonight.
Next week.
You're gonna choose. Maybe 20 out of all of the ones we've done.
I see. Okay.
21 in case, because you want to have a tie.
okay,
It has to be an
yeah.
odd number,
Okay.
Haggis. Do you know what an odd number is?
I think I'm an odd number.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Yes.
All right.
So
Yeah,
so get an odd number, and then we'll do it next week.
Yeah, next week.
Excellent.
Perfect.
Okay.
Great. So we have some Dremmy Cremmy music.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
I love the Dremmy Cremmy
Yeah,
music.
that was great.
Right, so here it is.
All right.
Oh, it's time for Dremmy Cremmy. Time to learn your theater peeps.
Excellent.
I think I have a beautiful singing voice.
Oh my goodness.
That's wonderful, Haggis. Thank you.
I'm glad you're so supportive.
All right. Let's do this.
Okay.
Chris is waiting.
All right. Here, okay, I got a few, but I'm thinking you can whiz right along through this.
Okay.
You can
all right.
whiz bang through it.
Whiz bang.
Margie Boulay. She
Whoa.
was in Kiss of the Spider Woman.
and she was also in Inspecting Carol.
Well
Yep.
done.
I can't quite see that.
Wow. I don't
That's
know.
not a picture of the
He
show.
looks really familiar, but I cannot
No,
place him.
he doesn't look
Something
familiar
about the
at
pillow.
all. Pillow Man? Is that Martin McDonough?
No, that's
a little bit older than
that's
Martin
Kevin
McDonough.
Newland Scott. He played Topolsky.
Oh,
my
yeah,
goodness.
okay. Yeah, yeah.
Really? You recognize that?
No,
With the mustache?
I sort of recognized it. I mean, that's why I say he
All
looks
right.
sort of familiar.
Okay,
Okay.
here we go.
Samantha
Vandermeer,
Vandermeer.
the artistic director of Shaking the Tree, director of One Fleece Bear,
Pool No
director
Water.
of Wild Tales.
Yep.
Wow.
Yes. Oh, that's Kirk.
Is that?
No, that's Kirk Moses. That's the executive artistic director at Stumptown Stages.
Kirk Moser.
Moser, that's right. It's
Right.
close.
How the you know that?
It pays to get here early.
I was like, no way. You can't possibly know that.
We did it. I still got it wrong. Liminal Theater's Our Town.
Oh, she was.
And she was also in the Fertile Ground play, Bits and Pieces.
No, middle names.
Middle names, that's what I meant.
Uh-huh.
And who is she in Art Town?
Was she Julie?
No, she's the daughter. What's the daughter?
Oh, I guess that's what I meant.
Emily.
Emily.
Jeez, Julie,
Right.
Emily, whatever.
All right, what's her name?
Don't know.
Emily, probably.
Janavi Caldwell Green.
What?
Genevieve Caldwell Green.
Janavi Caldwell Green.
Janavi?
Genavi Caldwell
I'm guessing.
Green. Okay.
Okay.
I don't know who that is.
That is,
No idea.
that's David Byrne.
He had two faces. Or
That's David Byrne.
no,
David Byrne.
he was Dr. Jekyll.
Oh.
His name is Mario
James
Calcagno.
Spader.
His
I
name,
don't know.
His name is Mario Calcagno.
Okay. We're really sucking at this. That's was it, Scott Yarborough
Yes.
and Catherine Maddox.
Yes, that's right.
And I can't quite see the other woman in the.
But she plays Hank's wife in Breaking Bad. That's her.
I still can't even
No?
make that person out. So yeah, I got two of them.
You could turn it over.
Oh. Rebecca
Jacqueline.
Lingefelter
Oh, that's Rebecca Lingefelter.
from Pete.
Yes. Portland.
Yeah, she was in
Experimental Theater
in Song of the Dodo.
Right.
She didn't look. We met her. When
When we went to see Noises Off. That's right. She
didn't
tried
look
to get you to go in a door.
No, she tried to get you to go in the door.
Somebody tried to go in a door.
No, it's Jacqueline Maddox.
Jacqueline Maddox. I said Catherine.
Okay.
Yeah,
Is that
Jacqueline Maddox. Yeah,
Right.
sorry.
Okay. One more.
And that's the artistic director,
We
Scott
got-
Yarborough.
Scott Yarborough. We got that.
We got to move on. One more.
One more?
Yeah.
Yeah, one. We gotta move.
Okay.
1,000 there, and we only need one.
Oh, that is yes.
Jerry Mawood
Yep.
and
Carol Triffle.
Yes.
Yes, and Imago.
Who are they? Oh, they're Imago.
Yep.
she's a playwright.
artistic co-directors of Imago.
She's also a playwright.
So, almost well done. You got a few.
Not really.
Okay, let's move on.
Okay.
This is like a busy season for us. We have so much to do.
We have so many things to get through.
There's too much going on, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So we did Drammy Crammy. We need to give out a few nominations for Golden Flasks. We're just going to do 3. This is just a teaser.
Yeah, and we will have more
Yes.
as we approach the Golden Flasks
In a couple weeks.
Well, we're going to record on May 31st, but yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
A couple weeks from now.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Good. All right. So we've got 3 different categories this week. The first one is best restroom.
Oh, yeah. That's important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That could come in handy.
Sure. Especially, if you've imbibed too much.
Right. So where do you think the best restrooms were?
Well, some of the best restrooms that I can think of, Artist Repertory Theater has got one of the nicest restrooms. I feel like there should be a valet in there.
Oh yeah,
with a towel.
No, that's how I feel every time I'm in there. I think the valet must be taking the night off.
Right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Definitely. Okay, so there's 4 nominees for every category, so that's one.
Okay.
PCS is another, clearly, right?
Oh, certainly. Yeah.
They've got a lot of money for bathrooms.
Very nice
at that
restrooms there.
company. Bag and Baggage.
Strangely, I have never used their facilities.
I have a couple weeks ago when we went to see Private Lives. Very nice in there. It's very nice. It's not fancy.
Yeah.
It's kind of utilitarian, but very quaint.
Okay.
It's a nice bathroom.
Yeah.
And Portland Actors Ensemble.
Well, how can you go wrong there?
Who doesn't want to pee in a bush?
Sure.
Exactly.
I mean,
so.
Yeah.
So they're your nominees there.
Perfect.
Best at overcoming distractions. And what we mean by that is that your space, these companies who are nominated, their spaces tend to have some noises, some things going on outside of the actual play happening.
Right.
And that they are working to overcome those distractions.
And they routinely have to work to overcome those distractions.
Right. It's not a one-off. This is constant.
I think someone has to be on that list is Action Adventure.
Right.
That train.
Oh, they've got an entire train going by sometimes.
Sure.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They got to deal with that.
Okay. Who else?
Well, I think to some degree, Shaking the Tree.
Yes.
Yeah, there's quite a bit of
barking.
Yeah, and street noise, and the TV and the guy.
The guy next door with the TV,
watching his TV next door. Yeah.
Yep. Little Bachelor going on over there.
Yeah.
Right. Post 5.
Oh yeah, all those apartments and.
Well, especially when you're in the outdoor stage, you got all those different living areas.
Sure.
And then you got the street like 80 seconds right around the corner there.
Sure.
And these folks, Portland Actors Ensemble, another nomination for them.
Well, you got dogs and
weddings.
Sure.
And
I mean, that's a
lot to contend with.
That is a lot to overcome. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
All right. Those are good nominations.
Last category here.
Okay.
Hardest set to keep off of.
Oh, there's so many.
Yeah. So when we walk into a theater space, the first thing Eric and I think about is, where could we sit up there on that stage?
Because often it looks very inviting.
And some are more inviting than others.
That's true.
And that's what this category is getting at.
I think that something that has to be on that list is Gideon's Knot, because you couldn't keep yourself off of the scenery.
I kicked books.
Yeah.
Yeah, I booted some books around when I walked in.
Right.
Yeah, but it felt like you were already in the space. So why not really participate?
Yeah, go sit in a desk and
Sure. Yeah.
Sure.
Draw on the wall.
Yeah.
Monster Builder is on here.
Yeah, who would want to play on that set?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Lion in Winter is on here.
Oh, those lovely. There's like your living room
at holiday time.
Yeah.
Right.
Like you wanted to go up there and
light a fire
with a hot toddy and sit by the fire.
Right.
Yeah.
Of
course.
And drink some drink.
Yeah. That was the first time I'd been in that space, and I felt like I was somewhere else.
Oh yeah. I mean, it was very naturalistic.
Yeah.
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 And then Tess on an Alien Planet.
Oh yeah, I want to play on those aerials.
Yeah, who doesn't want to strap themselves into some acrobatic equipment
Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely.
Nice.
No OSF?
We don't. They're not really.
No, they're not a Portland company. I
'Cause
mean,
that carpet that when there's in the Tempest.
oh, the Tempest carpet was
It is
pretty
nice.
inviting. I wanted to go up there and play, but
So.
they're their own thing.
So there's a few more. Good luck to all of those nominees.
Yes.
There will be more, and a couple weeks from now, prizes will be given out.
That's right.
Yes.
So if you show up and see us when we're at the Highland Still House, we might have your
You could
golden
collect right then.
flasks right then.
Don't hold your breath, but could happen.
Have you ordered those yet?
I'm gonna work on that this week. I have a to-do list.
Okay.
He's going to be coloring with crayons the night before.
All right.
All right. You want to talk to Chris?
Yeah, let's bring Chris
we bring him in here?
and we will.
Mostly because we're thirsty.
Yeah, we need something to drink. Yeah.
All right, let's bring him in here.
Okay. For more than a decade, Chris Murray has been performing and producing theater in Portland. A graduate of Linfield College, he has worked with nearly every company in town, including Third Rail Repertory Theater, Portland Center Stage, Portland Playhouse, Artist Repertory Theater, Stark Raving Theater, and Coho Productions. A few of the many plays you've seen him in are A Bright New Boise, A Skull in Connemara, Xmas Unplugged, Bloody, Bloody Andrew Jackson, I Am Still the Duchess of Malfi, Sometimes a Great Notion, Hamlet, and Animals and Plants. He recently appeared in The Grown Up at the Humana Festival at the Actors Theater of Louisville, and he won a Grammy Award in 2006 for his role in Take Me Out at Artist Repertory Theater. He serves on the Artistic Council for Coho Productions, and last year he started his own company called Whizbang. You can see him in the current production of The Playboy of the Western World at Artist Repertory Theater. Chris.
That sounds good.
I always feel like when we read these bios that what we do here is really pointless. That we really are useless.
I'm just exhausted. That was so long.
Right. We need a drink.
Yeah. Hey. Hi.
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 Hi, guys. That was great. Thanks for reading all of that. I wanted to.
Oh, wait.
Let's see.
I need those bottom two pages.
Okay. So this scotch is really good.
Yeah, no, what? Oh, this scotch here? What are you drinking? The Abelauer.
The Abelauer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You like it?
Yeah. I can't afford good scotch, so I usually don't like it because the I drink is just terrible. It's like dirty kitchen sink water.
Yeah.
Is that what's in this bottle?
Yeah, actually, I brought you guys a little present from Playboy of the Western World. This is Poteen. This is the real stuff that we drink throughout the whole play, and I wanted you guys to have a chance to give it a shot.
No, okay, so what is Poteen?
I don't know exactly. I know it's made from potatoes, and
So it's healthy.
it's got a strong yet delicate flavor, and the pleasant aftertaste lingers on, is what it says, which is very true. Not the pleasant part, but the aftertaste. And yeah, it's sort of like White Dog, but for potato. I don't know. It's got a really unique flavor.
Now, this is very cold. We usually drink our whiskey at room temperature. Is there a reason this is cold?
It's pretty hard to drink.
So you can get it down?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
It just numbs the throat a little bit.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
Yep.
Screw top.
Screw top.
That's 180 proof.
Yeah.
Is that?
It's 160, just 160.
It's just 160.
Yeah, that's it.
Just
It's no big
160.
deal. No one's actually poured it into a glass before, so this is pretty exciting.
Oh, you just drink right out of the...
Oh, yeah.
You just take it.
It doesn't matter if they're sick because
There
the
you go, Eric.
alcohol just kills all the germs.
Okay. This is just clear. Like, exceptionally clear.
Yeah.
Okay. We should do a sophisticated tasting with this.
Yeah.
Hey, now,
I poured quite a bit there.
pass it on over.
Oh, Haggis needs
Oh,
some.
my...
Don't forget the haggis.
There you go, Haggis.
I just smelled this. Oh, no.
It sort of tastes like bubblegum and gasoline.
It kind of smells like bubble gum. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say, like, just pure rubbing alcohol. Oh, my gosh.
Go for it.
Oh,
Just watch Eric.
yeah. Wow. Okay. That's
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Yeah.
I poured about 10 times
How
too
much
much in
of
my
this
glass.
have you had to drink? Like,
Well, that's the
Since you've been...
the cast is there's 11 people in the cast.
You awake over the Haggis? I am now.
If you want to find somebody who's hiding, just leave this around and they drink some and you can hear them cry.
We just pass the bottle around at the end of rehearsal. And there's 11 people in the cast, and then there's the crew and the design team and Damaso.
So you're saying you drink a little of this like nightly?
Oh yeah. It's good for my morning constitution.
Oh man. Okay. Wow.
Yeah. Watching you guys drink the Poteen, like it's clearly horrible.
It's horrible.
And you hate it.
Yeah.
No,
But-
seriously, if I knew I was going to drink this after rehearsal every night, I wouldn't go to rehearsal anymore. I would just drop out of the show and be done with it.
Well, they're long
This is
days.
insane. I mean, this is not refreshing. It's not.
Yeah.
Oh God, I'm still not used to it.
I don't know how you can get used to that.
It's good. It's good stuff.
Yeah. Wow.
So yeah.
Well, okay. I'll finish this dram. Did you finish? Oh,
No,
you didn't. Okay.
but my tongue is going numb.
My whole lips are numb.
Yeah. It's like drinking poison.
So, your interview with Alison Hallett really caught our attention. Because of that manifesto riot act.
It wasn't so
you
much of an
read.
interview as it was an email outburst. Is that
Yeah,
what it
I guess that would. Yeah, right.
It was like a Facebook rant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess my first question is, what do you think is right with Portland theater?
I mean, I think Portland theater does a lot of things right that the rest of the country isn't quite doing it. But I think the Portland audiences are the most right thing about Portland theater because they'll actually give a show a chance if it's a little bit weird and not in a major regional house. And that's really awesome. You know, Fertile Ground, I think is awesome. I'm not going to talk on this podcast. I'm not talking, but something like Fertile Ground doesn't, they have no process to eliminate scripts from. So pretty much anyone who wants to do something can do something.
Right.
And that's awesome for the artist. But when you are trying to cultivate an audience, getting burned on a show is really bad for experimental theater or like, you know, low risk theater. So if just everything is called like Why Mom, you know, or something something like that, it can be hard. But I love the idea behind doing it. I like that we're doing it. And I think the Jaw Festival is, in my opinion, one of the best parts of Portland theater because we get all these well-known playwrights and directors in town, and we're workshopping together, and local actors get cast. Like last year, there were only 2 out-of-town actors out of the 26 that were in the festival, that doesn't happen anywhere else. And you get to meet these playwrights and develop relationships with them and go out and like have crazy times with them. And they are brought to Portland, so we don't have to like go and do it. And it's also free to see Jaw, and there's 4 plays and they're all free. It's that kind of new work development that also puts on a show, I really like.
And you credit the audience largely with that, or they're receptive enough to invite that into. Okay.
The fact that they all, they'll sell out the Armory. I mean, it's a free show, but like people will pack it in. And the playwrights will always say about the at talkbacks, the Portland audiences, mostly the audiences in Portland are really savvy. And they get it. Like if the ending's ambiguous, they're like, "Oh, I see. You're gonna make me think about it," as opposed to like, "What the? I paid my money. Give me an ending."
Yeah,
you know,
tie it up in a bow. Yeah.
There's a lot of small companies who are hiring equity actors. A lot of them, like not just. It used to be when I first joined the union, it'd be like maybe 1 or 2 equity actors, and now. The Three Sisters at Pete has something like 7 equity contracts in it, which is insane.
That's great.
Yeah. Portland theater. Gosh, there's so many things I like about it. Let me say another thing I like about it. I like that Portland casts super early for all their shows. So we know going into the summer, like it's going to be a lean couple of months, you know, from September to December, because other cities will just, you know, you can just get the call at any time. And there's something romantic about that. But there's also, you know, I've got a kid and like, I don't want to be surprised anymore.
Yeah.
You know, I just want
Sure.
to know if I have a season. And if I don't, I need to know how many months I can make it, you know, trying to.
Or look elsewhere.
Or look elsewhere. Yeah. So I think that's what Portland's doing well is keeping it local, workshopping new work, and And these play fringe festivals, like some of the smaller companies in this town are doing things that we can't see anywhere else.
So, not to invite your trash talking, but what's wrong with Portland theater?
I really like Portland theater. So I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with it. What's wrong with Portland theater? I wish there was more communication between the theaters in this town. Around season selection time, it sometimes feels like it's a big mystery, and people will protect the plays that they are trying to get the rights for, so that other people don't like snipe them.
Yeah.
And I like sharing scripts with people. I'm not a member of Third Rail anymore, but people send me scripts all the time.
I was gonna say you read a lot, don't you?
I read a lot. Yeah. I try to read at least 2 scripts a week. Last year I was like, I'm going to read 100 scripts this year. And, it's actually not that hard to do. And, people protect their scripts.
Yeah.
Like, this is mine.
Right.
Like, I found this script, and it's like, well, you didn't write it. You know what I mean? Like, but if we get these passion projects, it's like, I want to do this. I want to direct this script. And it's like, that's awesome. But it just still doesn't belong to you. You know what I mean? So I guess the secrecy of that, I don't think it's unique to Portland either, but that's something that kind of bums me out when people are like really protective of that stuff, because there's so many good plays out there. So sometimes I feel like if you have a script you really like, it's because, and it's the only one you really like, it's because you just haven't looked deep enough maybe at the pool of other scripts that are available. I don't know.
Do you have a script you're really in love with right now?
Yeah, totally.
Are you protecting it, or are you going to tell us?
Well, actually, Tom, do you know Tom Orman?
No.
He just sent me a script today that I read a few pages of that I love. Anyway, the same writer wrote this other play that is really awesome, and I might look at it with him. A friend of mine, David Jacoby, who was produced at Jaw last year. Did you guys check out Jaw last year?
I didn't make it.
It's cool. Yeah. He wrote a satire of the Battlestar Galactica called The Battlecruiser Aristotle. And unlike the satire, like I produced Weekend at Bernie's, and that was pretty much like bring the movie, put it on stage. This is like a talented playwright writes, he's going to kill me if he hears this. It's not fanfic, you know what I mean? Because it's elevated. He's writing a play, but it's based on this world of Battlestar Galactica, and it's funny as shit. And I'm really hoping to workshop it soon. He's at UCSD right now. And I've got like I have so many scripts I'm into right now, but my company, which isn't a thing yet until I do something with it, I just can't afford to do most of the scripts that I'm interested in. Yeah. So I just sort of pass them along. I passed a script on to Damaso the other day that I was like, if I could afford it, I would totally produce this, but see if it might work for you guys. I don't know. I'm just on a tangent. I feel like America, we're always looking for a really safe forehander that's like charming, as opposed to like a play that really starts to get you, like make you think. But I know all the maiden theaters want that kind of like make you think kind of challenging play. Sometimes the audience, I said, are great, but sometimes they turn on you as well. I heard during the talkback of the receptionist at Portland Center Stage, a lot of audience members were just sort of pissed about the lack of ending. And I think that play has a really obvious ending, so I don't know what they're talking about, but it was really cool that PCS was like trying to, bring a very small, very weird little Adam Bach play in. It was all locals in it. And it was a beautiful show. But sometimes, so they're trying to find something that's like edgy, but also accessible. Right. And I feel like that's a big market right now in American theaters. Like they were going to say it's edgy. The audience is going to expect it to be edgy. And then they see it and it's not very edgy, but they think it is. The audience are like, oh, I heard this one,
Really? You don't think that it sort of dashes their expectations? You think they kind of just go with it and feel like they're inside something? Or
I feel like if it's really edgy, they would be not too happy about it. And so if it's really safe, I think they can see that. Yeah. I think people are smarter than that. So I think they want the illusion of edginess without actually diving in. So I can't imagine picking a season at like a big company. It would just be a nightmare, because the people who are picking the plays, that's not necessarily what they want to be doing sometimes.
Yeah.
So it's tough. It's a really tough racket.
I got a question.
Yeah, Haggis.
Haggis.
So
what do you got?
if you're in a show and you're
Have you met Haggis Jones, our producer?
Hello.
There he
I
is.
met him when he wasn't talking like that.
What are you
Every
talking
time he has Poteen, this is what.
Right. I got to drink my scotch. So if you're in a show and you're thinking that maybe the show isn't, the rehearsals aren't going so well, or the show isn't going so well, or it's not that great of a show, and you have to open it, what's it like to be in a show that you got some mixed feelings about?
It's terrible. What do you think? It's horrible. It's the worst.
But you still gotta sell it, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, you got to find something to love about it. You know, there's no such thing as like a show has no redemption. But yeah, it's sometimes hard because this life isn't the easiest, and it's, you know, we're constantly unemployed, and when we are employed and we don't like the play we're in, it can be tough. But I'd still rather be an actor in a bad show than like work at Office Depot. You know.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just sometimes you don't quite connect to the show.
I guess part of what I think he's asking, and something we've talked about on this show, is, you know, we've gone to plenty of shows in the past year at this point where we go in and we go, we can't be the only ones who know that this isn't working, you know, and not just other audience members. There've got to be people on the stage and the production crew and who've produced this who knows that this isn't working. And so do you find that there are ever conversations about that?
Oh,
that there's an acknowledgement from the people producing it that this is a problem, that something needs to be addressed? Or is it just, we've done the best we can, let's just get it over with? I mean,
I guess it depends on if the problem is the script, because that's kind of the only thing we can't do anything about. If the problem is the direction, you know, sometimes some more experienced actors might play a bit off direction to see if they can fix a problem, which they're not supposed to do. And sometimes if it's like just if the actors aren't very good, I don't think anyone knows, you know. I don't think they're like, wow, I'm terrible in this. But I find that this doesn't happen very often, by the way, but when I am in a show that I'm just like, man, usually me and a few other actors in the show talk about it at the bar and try to figure out how to make it work. Just keep puzzling with it.
Sure.
But I don't think many people, I think many people are just thankful for the work, and they're just like, well, I'm doing what my director told me to do, so it.
Right.
And there is value in that. I mean, honestly, like sometimes you can't see the big picture, but sometimes if you're doing something you know isn't working, I think you have to do something about it, even at risk of like potentially upsetting your director or stage manager.
So in terms of your acting, what has been one of the most challenging projects you've worked on?
Are you kidding me? You are stealing my...
Yeah, I'm stealing your stuff.
I work on these. All right, go ahead.
I don't have time to come up with this stuff myself, you know.
Honestly, this show I'm working on now, I think is one of the most challenging plays I've ever done. It might be the most challenging play I've ever done, but we just finished tech, so it's
right.
What's the show?
Playboy
Welcome to the show, Haggis.
It's Playboy of the Western World. And it's really hard.
And you're playing Christy Mahone, right?
Yeah. Christy Mann. And it's I knew it was going to be hard, and it still has been way harder than I think any of us ever thought, except Damaso. He's directed it before, so he's been telling us the whole time, like, this is going to be hard, you know. We're like, well, whatever. But yeah, it's tough.
Like, why is it so challenging?
There's so many technical parts of it. So the dialect is just, it's unbelievably, it's very thick. It's 1907, and there's a lot of like substitutions, lexical substitutions that don't make sense to the American ear. So we're fighting through that and trying to make it clear. There's also a rhythmic melody that has been sort of ascribed for us for this show, which disallows us to place emphasis on certain words that would help do that. Sort of like Shakespeare. It's like the Shakespeare meter. We're not running into it like you're not supposed to in Shakespeare either. But there's a pattern of the language, and then the complexity of the dialect, and then the complexity of the language itself. I don't know the last time you guys read that play, but it's really wild. Like some of the metaphors in there are, like Shakespeare, when they have some metaphor no one understands. They'd be like, it's like a penny post to a jackstraw. And you're like, oh, that's funny. That's like
Great.
the language part. So without even the dialect, it's hard to make that active and like be like, I want something from you. Here's my objective. I'm going to use these words to do that, And then the arc of the character is, it's difficult. It's like a Shakespeare comedy that no one knows. And that's why it's so fun to do, because like no one knows this play. Everyone's heard the title. No one knows anything it's about. They don't know what's going on. And so some of the older classical writing styles, like a character can be like, I thought I saw that, but I must be mad. And back in the day, it was like, that was legit. That was like a legit narrative arc for someone like, oh yeah, I must be crazy. I'm going to walk over there now. And it's like, all right, next scene. And so there's a little bit of that in this, where it's like some of the reasons for the things that we're doing on stage are a bit archaic narratively. So making those appear to, be honest and real is a challenge. And the physical activity is really, you'll see. Are you going to see this show?
Nathan will be in to review the show next week. He's going opening night.
Oh, good.
So, yeah.
Yep.
Well, I really think it's going to get there. But it's really hard.
So technically challenging, verbally challenging, in terms of creating a character, some degree of challenge there. You're on the verge of opening this. You feeling good?
I am. Our run last night, we had our first audience. There was like 15 people or something. It was just an invited dress. And I feel like it's really working. It's sort of like when you watch Shakespeare, we all know it so well, so it doesn't affect us, but it's sort of like the first 20 minutes of Shakespeare, I always think like, I've made a horrible mistake. I don't know why I came here. I don't know what the going on. I don't know what any of these people are saying. And then it's sort of like, it hits you all of a sudden. Yeah. Like, that's why Act 1, Scene 1 of Hamlet's so long. Because it's like, why are they talking about Poland? Like, who gives a And it's like, because by the time we finally get to the royal family, our ears are like adjusted. So I think that happened last night. And I think we're in really good shape. A.R.T. does previews and then they rehearse during the day and then do previews at night, which is kind of different. Usually you just sort of like do your preview, get your notes, go home and go back and do the next preview. But this one, it's like he's using the previews to identify problems with the play and then work on them during the day and then do another preview at night. So it's a lot. It's a big week this week. So we still have a good 25 hours of rehearsal and 5 more performances before we open, which sounds great to me. Like, we're not ready right now, but I think we're definitely on the path.
So what sort of techniques or practices or methods or theories that you've either studied or picked up through working with directors, like which ones are like the most useful to you?
Are you talking about like acting technique?
Yeah, acting technique or tools of the trade that seem to be extremely useful from show to show to show. I mean, I mean, is there a bag of tricks that you go back to and say this is useful? This works.
Yeah. Is there a method that you use to prepare consistently, or
prepare for the show, like warm-ups?
Well, I mean, preparing.
That's my question. Prepare a character.
I was trying to clarify it for you.
No, I actually think I start over every time. Like I always have a new idea. I'm like, I'm gonna do it this way, and then I don't know, it doesn't work out. I like starting with somebody I know, or somebody that reminds me of the character, and then I don't know. I don't really think about it in terms of character. I really think about it in terms of just like what they want and just like doing it. I'm so inspiring. I just feel like so much of a character is just the choices they make. And, being like, well, he's physically going to look like this, that it just doesn't help. I know it helps other people. It just doesn't help me at all. Cause it's like, I don't fucking know what he looks like. He's not a real person. I a lot of the times when I work with actors who have a lot more training than I do, they use metaphors about building. They use a lot of building metaphors. Like I've constructed this character and so it's hard to like make different choices sometimes because I've like made this thing. And my take on it is that we're not actually making anything, we just like, if something's not working, we just can throw it all away because we've not actually done any work at all. We've just sort of had thought experiments and we've talked about it in the room. But like, until you're running a show, like nothing, you're not doing anything. At rehearsal, we're not doing anything. We're just trying to figure out, a more realistic way to get to a character or whatever, or standing over on stage left so that you're not blocking the audience from the view of another actor. I guess getting yourself in the right headspace is great, but curiosity is the most important thing. Like, how does this work? How does that work? Why would I say that? And a lot of times I think actors like to pipe down because they don't want to be the squeaky wheel or whatever. And I think that's just, I don't agree with that at all. As long as you're not be like, but you said for me to do that and I'm doing it, but you still haven't told me why. Like, I don't know why. And because I said so, it's just not an appropriate answer for art, and sorry to describe what we do as art because it sounds pretentious, but it's true. Like, we're all creatives here. So I don't know. I feel like you asked me a question and I don't ever answer it.
No, this is good. Okay. This is really good. I still have no idea how you work as an actor, but that's...
Yeah.
Like, do you feel like you work from the head? Is it an intellectual exercise? Is it a physical exercise?
It's definitely... Yeah, go ahead. Keep giving me.
No, that's fine.
I think it seems very fluid in what you're describing.
I was a stand-up comic and an improv actor before I was a I don't know, real actor.
Don't say that.
Whatever that.
And there was never any discussion of this kind of stuff in that field because it's like, you just do it. Mm-hmm. You just do it. And if you're funny, then you keep doing it. And if you're not, then you have to stop because no one wants to hire you. And so I really took that approach a lot to acting too. And I used to manufacture a lot. Mm-hmm. I used to be like, I'm going to make my voice sound like this and I'm going to like move like that. And I'm going to make sure my costume has a prop in it that I can like with because that's his thing or whatever. Kevin Kline said, Hamlet, I don't know what Hamlet ate for breakfast and I don't give a because it's like all we have to do on stage is pursue the objective of the role. So all the other stuff is like, I don't know, it's interesting. Some actors do really interesting stuff physically. I just feel like a big old phony. Like I can't convince myself.
It's just very interesting because it's almost nonchalant the way you're discussing it now, but just a few minutes ago you were telling us about like the technical elements of voice and diction in Playboy the Western World. So
right.
It's just
it's a juxtaposition.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Is it a fun one?
It is kind of fun.
I feel like this play requires things and those are challenging because they get in the way of all the other stuff. Mm-hmm. Because if you think about like the most boring play in the world, like those open scenes from like high school theater where it's like A, B, A, B.
Right. Hello.
Those are the ultimate scenes for me because they just allow you to pursue, there's nothing challenging about them. Like this just has a lot of the difficulty level to get into it and to start being a real human being. There's just a lot of them. And you get dialect notes and you get acting notes and you're getting notes on the melody of the, like there's just so many notes. There's just so many things to think about in this kind of show. And there's 11 people on stage in a little room. Yeah. And there's fights. Oh, we get fight notes all the time. I get hurt all the time in this show. But I think as far a lot of people who talk to me about acting, they're like, Will, what's your thing? Like, what's your hook and what's your technique? And I just don't really have any because I've never really learned any. I learned a lot. Like I've done a bunch of viewpoints and Meisner and stuff like that. Like I've experienced it and I think it's all cool, but if it wasn't for the people I'm working with, I don't think I would do it like on my own. I think if I was in a ensemble that's like, hey, we're going to do viewpoints every day. I'd be like, hey, all right, cool, let's do it.
Right.
But left to my own devices, I don't think I would do it.
Yeah.
Why do you like Portland so much?
I think Portland is a city that says yes to art. They say yes to paintings and the museum and live music. And I think other cities, if someone will be like, I love theater. I go see theater all the time. I'm like, when's the last time you went? They're like, 9 months ago. I'm like, well, okay. All right. Or like, where do you go? And they're like, I go this place and this place. I'm like, all right, well, there's a shitload of other things. And Portland, people are pretty savvy. Like, you'd be surprised. When I do a show at PCS, there's a lot of people who will like see me at Starbucks, be like, I saw you on that show. I'm like, yeah, cool. Tim True, again, I always quote Tim True, but he has this funny thing where people go up and be like, oh my God, I know you. You were in a show. What was that show? And he's like, what was the show that you saw me in? They're like, yeah. He's like, do you want me to just start naming shows that I've done? They're like, yeah. So he just starts. And he's been in so many plays. And they're like, nope. He's like, okay, well, I'm just going to go until you figure it out. But in Portland, like a lot of these smaller things like the zombie play, which was awesome, like all these little smaller theater, like people go and see that. It's not just the theater community. Like there are people outside of the theater community who seem to give a shit about it. And that's really rare. So again, going back to, I guess, the idea of audience, I want to produce. If I don't want to owe my life to a casting director. So if there's not a role for me in the season, I want to be able to do, act or produce and make money and not have to feel like I'm a slave to the audition process. Yeah. And Portland allows you to do that. I was just working with these guys in New York, and I was this kid, Matt Stedelman. He's great. I don't know his name. He's one of the best actors I've ever seen in my life. And I was working with him, and I was like, God, I want to see you do Hamlet. And I was like, how much does it cost? Like, we started talking about producing in New York, and some of the stuff involved with producing in New York is hiring a PR person so the reviewers will come. Like, you have to hire a PR person so reviewers come to your show. You have to pay reviewers to come. And I was like, that's something I didn't even think about.
We got to move to New York. Yeah, let's go. Moving to New York. All right. Haggis, pack it up.
And you got to pay them a lot. So every time you spend money on a theater, on a production, like no one's got limitless resources. So you're not paying the actor very much, or you've decided to cut a roll out, or like you're not renting those extra instruments you need for that one moment in the show. So like paying a PR person just to me feels f***ing insane. It's like we already are just so... we're so threadbare in this industry, and to take what little money we have to like ask people to come and review, I just went into a tailspin, because that's part of what it is in New York. In New York, you might not work for a really long time. They might get one like unbelievable thing that just pays you a load of money and is super fun and critically a huge success, or you're on a TV show and people know you, but like that doesn't happen that often. I mean, it does for some people. Portland, there's just always something going on, and there's always something to see. There's always something to do, like equity or non-equity. A lot of people talk so much to me when I joined the union. Like, people would call me up from theaters and be like, we're not hiring you anymore. It's like, awesome, thanks. Thank you for the support. And my, even some of my friends were like, I think it's f***ing stupid to go equity in Portland. I'm like, all right, well, again, like I would be so happy for you if you were like, I'm gonna try to do this because I feel like I'm gonna give it a shot and maybe I can make it work. I don't know how you could ever be like, that's a terrible idea because you're a piece of instead of being like, hey, if you feel like he's never gonna make it, then you just say that to your friends when I'm not around. That would be great.
Well, you need to make a living. I mean, that's what it comes down to,
right? I mean, I think if you have a job that you don't hate, then you're set, because you can just, there's so many great non-equity shows in Portland. But like, I don't know what I do. Like, I've been thinking about it a lot because I have a daughter, and child care costs are insane, right? I mean, everyone knows this, but it's starting to finally hit me. There's a show that I was asked to audition for last week, and I couldn't even audition for it. I was like, nah, I'm sorry. Like, you guys don't pay enough to cover my child care. And I mean, this is an equity contract, so you would think, but it's pretty brutal. But that said, even small companies in Portland will try to pay their actors more. They'll try to bring in the audience. when I first moved here in 2004, I think it was, and like there are places that were, if you asked for a $250 stipend, they'd laugh you out of the room. And now it's like, it's just so much better than that. We're moving towards the mandatory minimum wage thing for non-equity actors. Did you guys hear about that?
No.
So as soon, as of right now, but they're going to start enforcing it in a year, you have to pay your actors minimum wage, which for a run of a show plus rehearsal, that's about $1,700 per actor, which is way more than the industry standard for paying a non-equity actor at a smaller theater. So things are about to get really interesting all over the country. And some smaller theaters might really suffer.
Yeah, I was going to say, what do you think's going to happen to the landscape out there?
I think they're going to have to not do shows with so many people in them. This show, I've been an equity actor since 2008. I think 2008, 2007 maybe. But I've just been in union shows since then. And some of my friends are in shows with like 16 people in them. It's like, oh my God, I can't even, this show I'm doing now is the biggest show I've ever done. It's 11 people. And it's a huge amount of people. And they pay their non-equity actors really well at Artist Rep. But that's so many people. And you just can't do that unless you've got the money for it. Right. So yeah, it's actually people get really activated by this argument about the minimum wage thing. Some people are like, dude, pay me. And some people are like, this is going to cripple some small theater companies. And I actually don't know where I stand on it because I can totally see both sides.
Sure.
It's hard to argue against paying an actor more for me from where I come from.
Yeah.
So whose work in town do you find most exciting right now?
You mean as an actor?
As overall company philosophy, I guess. If you could pick one company or one director that you find is doing great work.
I changed my mind. I like a lot of stuff, but I'd say probably Samantha Vandermeer. Has been just like really creating some awesome stuff. And I think she's really impressive. And I really liked that Vertigo show. I thought it was one of the best Vertigo shows I've seen in a while. And totally like the kind of work that serves that ensemble. And I don't know. I didn't necessarily like Mark Ravenhill very much as a playwright, but I tell you what, I think she's got something really special.
I think you would find agreement here.
We had no argument at all.
We had her on the show a few months back. And,
God, I should listen to that one. Yeah, she's something else.
Yeah,
she's so nice too.
Yeah.
Your name comes up associated with adaptation quite a bit.
Adaptation.
Adaptation of Hamlet, right?
Oh yeah, Weekend at Bernie's.
Weekend at Bernie's. There you go. What does adaptation mean to you?
For me, it's what somebody who can't write plays does. So that's why I do it. I adapted a version of Tartuffe that I'm still working on, but it's like a very different adaptation, but you still get the bones of the play. Like the play is done, and so you're just sort of in the guts tinkering around, and you feel protected, I guess, because you don't want to f*** it up. You don't want to change things too radically, but you know that if you futz around here and there, like it's gonna be fine. It's Hamlet. It's gonna be fine. It's Weekend at Bernie's. I mean, you can't f*** that up. You know what I mean? So I think people like who would adapt from a novel. I'm like, I think that's really impressive. I don't think I could ever do that. Adapting for what you want your audience to experience is great, because like I don't want to see Hamlet in its entirety. I don't think anyone does anymore, and there are many ways to adapt it to serve whatever your production is. And same thing with Tartuffe. And I feel like realizing what a modern audience wants to see, and then starting an adaptation to give that to them. Yeah, I like it. You said, what do you feel about adaptation? I like it.
No, I said, what does it mean to you?
Oh.
And so when you adapt Hamlet or you adapt Weekend at Bernie's, do you want to tell the story of Hamlet or the story of Weekend at Bernie's? Do you want to tell something different? Are you...
I think they're both. I'm really sad that Hamlet and Weekend at Bernie's are constantly.
I'm not.
I think it's a matter of focusing.
I think they should play back to back.
I think they should.
Mix them together.
There's something in there.
I want to see Weekend at Bernie's first. I think it's just focusing these large narratives to something smaller. Like, if you're doing a Hamlet where your backdrop is war, then yeah, of course you want all that with Fortinbras and Poland and all in England and all that stuff. But if you don't, if you're just focusing on the family, then it's like, you can just cut it. It doesn't really, it serves the broader purpose of the play, of course. But I feel like it's just saying, hey, this is a big thing and you only have to look at this much of it tonight. And then if you're interested, you can go read it or whatever, or like see the Brana film, which is 4.5 hours long.
No, nobody wants to see
Nobody wants to see
that. So you said what a modern audience wants from Hamlet. What does a modern audience want from Hamlet?
I don't know. You tell me.
I think
Hamlet. What does a modern audience? Okay. What does a modern audience want from Hamlet? They want it to be short. They want it to be exciting. They want the soliloquies to be really good. They want to see all the soliloquies except maybe
to be or not to be.
Well, we tried to cut that.
Yeah, good. You should cut
nice.
that.
The company, the theater company was like, no.
What?
You're not cutting that. Yeah, it's too bad.
It's like, but at that point, you're just pounding people over the head.
No, I completely agree.
Okay.
It was like he wrote it for a different play and just stuck it in.
Yeah.
In fact, everyone, my friends are gonna be so mad when they hear this. Everyone who does that play now, like, look at the play and see where that speech lays. Everyone changes the location of it because it doesn't make sense where it's at. Because he just had Rogan Peasant Slave. He just had Play Within Play idea. And now he's like, well, here's another, just a minute. So that's why everyone puts it in before Rogan Peasant Slave, because it makes more sense. But like, you're changing, to compensate for the fact that this is the most famous speech ever written. And it's impossible to do. Yeah. There's even a monologue about how hard it is to do. Have you heard that monologue?
Seems like I have, but I don't recall it.
But it's just like, you can't. You might as well just be, gargling marbles for 30 seconds because everyone has their own ideas about that speech. But yeah, I think they want it to be quick. I think they want it to be exciting, dramatic, and I think they want Hamlet. They want to see Hamlet go through hell and back, like just really get kicked in the teeth. It's cathartic to see such a brilliant character just get so badly over and over again. When it happens to Othello or Julius Caesar, it's like, yeah, you had it coming though. Like, I can't believe you didn't see Iago scheming or whatever. But Hamlet is always one step ahead of everyone, and yet he still doesn't work out.
Yeah.
And I think that's a really powerful thing, to watch somebody so eloquently explain to the audience exactly what's going on and then not do it. It's pretty, I love that play.
So we've asked you about what ideally you would like to do next. Do you have plans for what your next whiz-bang production will be?
Yeah, I have 3 ideas. I pitched an idea to Action Adventure, and we were really we were starting to talk about it, and then I went to Louisville, and then they opened Sidekicks, and I haven't been able to follow up with them.
Yeah.
But I really like them. I like the cut of their jib, and I would like to do something with them. I also have been talking to Hand to Mouth about a co-pro. I think I want to do a co-pro. I don't know if I said that. I want to do a co-production with somebody else first, to sort of like, I don't want to like raise and sink 40 grand into something that I'm just going to lose it all.
Sure.
Because it's my like initial offering. Yeah. I have to fundraise for a while because I'm trying to go for a no donor situation. I want my theater to be entirely self-funded, so that'll be challenging. So I'll be throwing some events, hosting well-known podcasters to come up and try to sell tickets to their shows. I kind of want to manage a band. Just things under my. I know. It sounds weird. I got a lot of ideas. I have a board like that, a big whiteboard in my room. That's just got. It's like a beautiful mind in there. It's it's like crazy that I write on there, like all these things that I want to do that I think will be artistically fulfilling and make money at the same time. So the co-pros will be designed to be profitable, honestly, because I think all of us could use a little bit more of that in our theaters. I don't have any costs because I don't have a theater. I'm just me. Right. But if I pitch something to Hand to Mouth or Action Adventure or even A.R.T. and was like, hey, I want to do this thing, coho late night, something like that, like something that would be fun to do and would actually make you guys some extra money. They probably won't say no to that. Mm-hmm. So I want to, do you know the Contemporary American Theater Festival? Mm-mm. It's out in like some weird place in West Virginia. And they do basically what Jaw is, which is play workshopping, and then they culminate with a big performance. But it's a month-long thing, and they work on all these new plays, and they spend a lot of money on it. And it's so great for the audience to be a part of the process of creating new plays. So I think I want to do that eventually, once I can afford to do that, just to basically take the torch from Jaw and from the Fertile Ground and just run with it and create something that is an established thing that people will want to come and workshop their plays at. And then I don't want to premiere, I don't need to premiere their plays. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I just want to be a step up the ladder for these, because playwrights are just they just get treated so poorly in this country, both financially and personally. And the way that the theaters interact with them is usually pretty poor. And so I try to be a real rallying call for the playwright. So hopefully that, or Weekend at Bernie's too. I'm just kidding. I would never do that. I want to, I want to manage a all-female rock and roll band that's about video games and the disenfranchisement and misogyny of being a female video game player in the world today. That's one idea. I want to do Demolition Man, the movie with Wesley Snipes and Sylvester Stallone. I want to pare it down to an hour. I want to do a serial improv show about Dungeons and Dragons based on the original first edition Dungeons and Dragons modules, which if you read these modules, they the flavor text alone is pretty insane. What else do I want to do? I want to do Battlecruiser Aristotle, of course.
You're gonna have to prioritize, man.
I know. Yeah. Well, it looks like I won't have a show necessarily in the fall at this point, so that's hopefully I'll be able to do something.
All that.
But again, going back to Portland, that's what makes Portland great, is that I can be like, I'm gonna do this. People are like, that sounds awful, but I guess I'll go anyway. And then if it isn't awful, then they're like, I'm so glad I went. But in other towns, they'd be like, oh, that sounds great. And they won't go. They'll never go. So yeah, those are all the things I'm thinking about.
Wow.
Right now.
I look forward to all of that.
Yeah.
Every last thing that you just talked about, I'm going to come see.
That's why I called it Whiz Bang. Because I do want to do important artistic work, but I want to do something fun and explore different art forms and really present entertainment, as well as workshopping plays and being part of the process. And
do you think of what you do as do you think of that as theater? Do you think of it more as entertainment?
Oh, I don't. You mean in theory what I do?
Yeah, like Whiz Bang or some of these other projects that you're talking about. I mean,
I think do
you consider this? I mean, if you were to categorize it, would you say, yes, this is theater, or this is vaudeville, or what?
I would probably say that most of the things I was just talking about would be comedy, just sort of and comedy doesn't have a negative connotation from where I came from, from sketch comedy and stand up. It's just that's comedy, that's what you do. The goal is to be entertaining. Mm-hmm. So entertainment, sure. But now that entertainment has become, people have become much more savvy, I think you're allowed to sneak some art in.
They used to They used to run a theater company called
did.
Bridge City.
I know. I heard about that.
Yeah. Oh. If only there'd been. You remember what I was saying? Like, it's not going to work. And the whole crew's getting together and the actors, and you just know it's not happening.
Uh-huh.
That was basically the history of Bridge City production.
Yeah, pretty much every production, with a couple
Really?
exceptions.
Yeah, there's a couple exceptions.
I think it's really good to know when you don't quite hit your mark, in a show.
Yeah.
I think there's a big difference between like someone who's reaching for something and doesn't quite get there, and somebody who just like they just don't seem to care. Like they don't really seem to care about anything. And I'd really rather see people like try and fail and fail spectacularly than just be sort of like, okay, like mediocre-y, kind of like, cool, that was important to be nursed again, like, instead of like, oh, they were trying to do this thing and it was insane and pretty stupid, but it was kind of cool to watch them struggle.
Yep. That's entertaining.
Yeah, well, come see my show. You'll see
can't
me
wait.
struggle.
Okay, and with that, thank you so much for the poutine.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I hope you do. If you I think I have a few comps left. So if you do want to come see the show.
If we want to come see the show, we will pay for it.
Yeah.
Like we always do.
We always do.
We want to support.
Huh.
Yeah.
No,
That's
we
nice.
always pay for our tickets.
We don't take
All right.
comps, so yeah.
You don't take comps?
We
Never.
don't take
Wow.
comps. Yeah. We appreciate that.
What if I comp the seat next to you for you to put your stuff in?
The flask.
The flask.
The cooler. Yeah. All right, cool. I would recommend if you drink during Playboy of the Western World, you start drinking
you'll win.
15 minutes in. 'Cause I think if you show up...
We'll show up with bottles of Poteen.
Yeah.
And
I think if you drink at the beginning, you're going to be... You're never going to catch up. I think you should wait
But
until
15 minutes in, we should be good.
Oh, yeah. You're smart, guys. All right. Well, thank you so much for
Thanks.
having me
Come back
in.
in and
This
talk
was
to
really
us.
fun. Yeah, I will. Thank
right.
you, guys.
that was our interview with actor Chris Murray.
But now we need to talk about Showboat at Lakewood Theater Company.
Yeah. Have you seen Showboat?
I have now.
But prior to this, you had never seen a production.
I've never seen Showboat before this.
This has been around since 1927.
Yep,
And
that's
you've
right.
never seen a production.
And I've never seen. Well, I wasn't alive for most of that time, but no, I have never seen Showboat before now. So this is my first time seeing this musical. You'd seen it, yes?
Yeah, I saw a revival in New York in '95.
Did you like that?
No,
Did you like this?
not particularly.
So, okay,
And so now I'm wondering, maybe I just don't like the show.
maybe not. And I get that.
Yeah.
Because I don't really understand why this is a show at all.
Well, what's interesting about this is that it was kind of touted as being a sea change in musical theater at the time. That they had crafted this work to be seamless. That all of the songs were integrated into the story.
And prior to this,
It was just a song and dance.
I think this may not be such a sea change. Maybe it's closer to being seamless, but this is definitely choppy.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's really... I guess I struggled a lot with, what the is this play about? Like, is there a plot here that I'm supposed to be following? Look, here are my guesses. Maybe it's a treatise on the nature of luck in America. Maybe it's about misplaced love for a loser husband and father.
Wow.
Perhaps it's a cautionary tale about life on the stage.
That could be, yeah.
It could be any of those.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I really don't know what it's about. and there's no real plot that I could follow through.
Well, it takes place over 40 years.
Okay. But because of that, there's no dramatic tension that's really built.
No, that's true. Well, and that's the interesting thing about this is that, particularly in this production, was that what I noticed was that we would get a problem develop,
Yes.
And then it would resolve within moments.
Right.
So, we have the issue of Julie, who is passing. She is of African ancestry, and she's passing off.
Right. She's the product of miscegenation.
Yes.
Yes.
And she's
Okay.
passing herself off as being white, and she is married to Steve.
Correct.
And so the problem that comes up quickly, and the sheriff comes in, and they're going to arrest them, and Steve, cuts her hand and takes some of her blood, and so that he now has a drop of African blood. But that storyline resolves in a matter of minutes,
Right.
and they leave, and they're on their way.
Yeah. I know.
And every problem in this show
It's cleaned up like that.
cleaned up instantly.
Right.
Yeah.
And so when you said that it's, one of the first musicals or the first musical that was considered seamless, I think it feels to me, and maybe this is just my contemporary take on it because of what we expect from a musical, but it just feels like some dialogue and then some music and then some dialogue and then some music, and it doesn't really feel seamless at all.
Well,
But I don't know how you would, and this is not to fault Lakewood. I don't know how you would even make it like that.
right. Well, I mean, this thing is a relic.
Oh, it absolutely is a relic.
I mean, it is. Well, how did I describe it the other day? I said it was the grandmother of musical theater.
That's right. That's what you said.
And it sort of is. I mean, it's old and dusty, and you might want to take it out now and then to see how it looks, but it just is rather hollow.
I mean, it's just a museum piece, right?
Yeah,
And there's no other reason to do it.
that's true.
And there's certainly not doing it for any other reason in this production.
No.
I mean, this is not challenging anybody's assumptions. This is not
No, I mean it's
controversial.
It is touted for the miscegenation topic, but that is
it's
such a small part of the show.
tangential to the rest of the thing.
Yeah,
No.
right. And in fact, I kind of came away from this production feeling like this really is a minstrel show. It kind of harkens to that minstrel mentality.
I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. In what sense? How do you justify what you're saying?
Well, I'm the characterizations of the black characters in this are very stereotypical.
Yeah, I guess I think of minstrel shows as those stereotypes commenting upon themselves.
Yeah,
And I think this is more reinforcing than anything else.
to a degree, but it's got a bit of that in it, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still of that era.
Well, it's too sprawling to give any sort of punch at all. It's just like you said, it's 40 years. I can't. There are all these little plots that I can't follow. It's not commenting on anything. There's no dramatic tension because it resolves so quickly. There's no real climax. Like, it ended, and I was like, wait a minute. Did we wind something up here?
Right.
Because I don't know what's going on.
Well, Gaylord's back, and all is right in the world.
Right. Why do they keep liking Gaylord too? I don't understand.
I have no idea.
Like, he loses and he's not a good gambler, and then he bails.
Yeah, and he just disappears.
Yeah.
It's a show built around two songs, really.
It really is. And I got to tell you that Old Man River stuck in my, and I think the performance of Old Man River by Jeffrey Simmons is great.
Oh, it's wonderful.
And I think every time he sings it fantastically. But even at that, like the fifth time, I don't really want to hear it anymore.
Yeah.
And I wandered around for days afterwards with this song in my head. My girlfriend is at home right now probably singing that song because I like drummed it into her head. And I just like, those two songs cannot sustain this entire musical. Not in the modern age.
No. No.
They can't do it.
I'm sure in 1927 they were all the rage, but they have not. They cannot live in the 21st century.
No.
In this context, at least.
No.
I mean, the songs themselves are fine.
Yeah.
But this show is just tired.
It really is. Really. But I am glad to know that you know who played Joe in the movie. You made that totally evident while we were waiting to go into the theater at the beginning.
I was answering showboat trivia out in the lobby before the show.
Yeah, but the thing is that you weren't asked to answer trivia. It wasn't. You were. I didn't know if you are you eavesdropping? Are you helping? What are you doing? Are you providing a service?
Well, this conversation erupted near us.
There's like 4 people.
Yeah, and they started wondering to themselves aloud who sang Old Man River in the movie version of this.
Yeah, and they sang a little bit.
And they sang a little bit.
Uh-huh.
And then some more people joined into the conversation, and they were all asking themselves, and there was like 8 or 9 people there saying, who sang Old Man River in the movie?
Right. And you're looking at me, you're like, should I tell them? Should I just tell them? Should I tell them? And I'm like, I don't care.
And so finally I turned to them and I blurted out, no, it's Paul Robeson. And they were like, "Oh yeah,
but
Paul Robeson."
They did say that they were excited, except the one guy was like,
"Yeah."
You could tell he didn't want you to tell.
Yeah.
But he wanted to figure it out for himself. Oh my gosh.
Oh well, I couldn't help myself.
You flew in like Superman and saved them.
Yeah.
I just couldn't take it
You're
anymore.
like a musical superhero.
Yeah.
So I think that as far as the performances go, I think that they were passable, but I feel like it was a little stiff.
Overall, a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, I think it felt like it was trying too hard for the most part.
Yeah, well, I think that has something to do with the kind of archaic nature of this show. I mean, how do you contextualize it to the modern age?
Well,
I think that's hard for a performer.
Contextualize maybe, but you can sing free, right?
I guess.
So the song "I Still Suits Me," sung by Jeffrey Simmons and Carmen Brantley Payne. She was playing Queenie. He's Joe. This is like pretty late in the second act.
Yeah.
And this was the first moment where I felt like I could breathe while I was watching the singing. And I felt like the singing was breathing and it was alive and in touch with itself. Yeah. And that was that was my favorite song of the whole night. That was the one I enjoyed the most. It was funny, but there was a relationship between them. It was just really lovely. And I wanted more of that in the show. I wanted sort of just more breath in the music.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
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 So
the rest of it just felt like it was stifled in a way. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I will say that I think that Matthew Hayward, who played Gaylord Revenant, has a magnificent voice.
He's an amazing voice.
Wow. What an instrument he has.
Mm-hmm. Operatic.
Yeah. Yeah, certainly.
Yeah.
And I think overall the performances were adequate.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's good singing. I mean, I think these are good singers and dancers.
Yeah.
I just want them to be a little looser.
Yeah, a little more in touch and alive.
A little more present,
yeah,
you know?
Yeah, no, I would agree with that.
Yeah. So, anyway, I'm not a big fan of Showboat.
Yeah. You know, the funny thing is I kind of thought that I was.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah, I mean, I've always kind of harbored a kind of love for this show for some reason.
That's really wild, especially given that you saw a production in New York that you didn't really love.
I didn't like. But now I'm not so sure.
Yeah. No, I'm not a big fan. This musical first performed in December of 1927.
Yeah.
And I did a little looking.
Oh.
About so that's late in the year. So I looked on 1928 to figure out things that people might have done instead of go to Showboat.
Oh.
So here are some things
that might have been better than
Showboat in 1928.
All right.
So the very first regular schedule of television programming began in New York.
Wow.
So you could have watched TV.
Holy cow.
That would have been exciting, yeah.
That would have been quite exciting.
That early, huh?
Right? Yeah. The animated short Plane Crazy was released featuring Mickey and Minnie Mouse.
Oh, I'd go see that.
Right.
Yeah.
Mickey and Minnie on a plane. The Outer Bridge Crossing and Gothel's Bridge in Staten Island, New York was opened. You could walk across that bridge. Here's a good one.
Okay.
Jean Lussier goes over Niagara Falls in a rubber ball.
Oh,
Wow.
Come on now, right?
I'd watch that.
That's a spectacle.
I mean, if somebody came up to you, Eric, and they said, showboat or a dude going over Niagara Falls in a rubber ball.
Oh yeah, I'm watching the dude in the rubber ball.
Sure, of course
Yeah.
you are.
Yeah.
The first machine sliced and machine wrapped loaf of bread was sold.
Better than sliced bread.
Yeah, that's right. Well, in this case, it's
It
not
is.
better than sliced bread. And you could have celebrated, and although you didn't know it at the time, the birth of actor Adam West, the future Batman.
Oh.
Right? Yes.
Very nice.
Yeah, so all that happened.
Huh. So many things to choose from.
Right. So I guess my point is, if you're considering going to Showboat, look around a little.
Huh. There might be.
There may be some other things.
options.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I'm giving this a 4.
Yeah.
4 flasks.
I'm right there with you. 4 flasks. I think some of the singing is superb. You won't find better voices in town, but the show itself is it's just a relic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One more word of advice I want to give our listeners.
Yeah.
If you are thinking of going to see this show or any show at Lakewood, my recommendation is the back row.
I love the back row. It has so much leg room.
It's got amazing leg room. It really isn't that much worse in terms of like being able to see the stage.
There isn't really a bad seat in that house.
There really isn't, and you've got all this leg room.
Yeah.
So definitely the back row.
And the patrons that were sitting next to us noted this. They'd never sat in the back before, and they are apparently
She was loving you,
regular,
man.
regular goers to the theater. And
You had quite a conversation
oh yeah,
there.
yeah. She was talking my ear off.
All right.
Okay.
Great.
So I have one thing to say about last week.
Okay.
So we did a review last week of Private Lives
at Bag and Baggage. Yeah.
And I have to say, there are a number of theater companies in town who seem to understand how to deal with us.
There aren't many.
No, there are not many at all.
Yeah.
But Bag and Baggage is one of those.
That's right.
And I absolutely adore their grace and humor from our criticism, and how they deal with us. It's delightful.
And the acknowledgement that not everything is rosy.
Yeah.
I think that's wonderful that they do that. So you're speaking specifically of...
Well, I mean, they sent out an email today, in fact, acknowledging the 6 reviews that they've had, and
one of which is ours.
And quoting all of them, including ours,
Yes.
at the end, calling, which we called it dreadful.
Uh-huh.
And then they go on to talk about their show, which I think is wonderful. I mean, they acknowledge that there are varying opinions out there.
That there are dissenting opinions.
Yeah.
And I think that's fantastic.
Yeah.
What did they say? 5 out of 6 critics agree. And we're the pouty pants dissenters in this whole situation. No, and I think that's great. And we say this all the time. And we look at a series of reviews for something we reviewed, and they say all the critics agree, and they just put in everything that's positive.
Right.
But Bag and Baggage has the ability to sort of absorb something that's not necessarily positive.
Yeah.
And to go with it.
Yeah,
that's great.
Yeah, it's refreshing. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So
next week
we're going back to Northwest Classical Theater Company.
we're going to see Macbeth, Haggis's favorite show.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna have to have someone christen the studio.
At the Shoebox.
Yes, they open this weekend.
Are we going to a preview?
No, we're going to like the third night or we're going to the first matinee.
Oh,
basically,
okay.
Yeah.
All right. Great.
Yep.
I'm looking forward to it.
Sure.
Oh, I am too.
Oh, Haggis, are you going with us?
No, I can't wait till your review. I can't wait till you
oh,
say
okay.
the M word over and over in the
Macbeth,
studio.
Macbeth.
Oh, crying out loud.
You know, his cat died when somebody said Macbeth.
Really?
Uh-huh.
Oh, maybe that's why he's got such an aversion to it, huh?
He didn't like the cat very much. Great. Our thanks to Chris Murray
Yes, thank you.
for coming in
Chris.
here,
Yeah.
hanging out for a little bit. Unless there's anything else.
No, we do. We have something else.
Oh,
Oh, there's something.
Of course. Don't you remember last week we started the calendar of what's playing this weekend?
oh, you do? I didn't know this was a weekly thing.
Yeah,
I
no,
thought it was a 1
Oh
week
no,
thing.
we're doing this every week.
There's no time
Did
for
it get
this.
cut last week?
No, it didn't get cut. All right.
It just took a long time to
What, this-
record.
Pointless.
All right, you ready? If you don't laugh, I might be able to get through this the first time.
We weren't the one laugh last time. You started it.
Oh, you two were so starting it.
He broke down first. Go ahead.
Yeah. All right, opening this week, we have Lizzie at Portland Center Stage, Macbeth at Northwest Classical Theater, The Playboy of the Western World at Artists Repertory Theater. And then the shows still playing this week are After the Revolution at Portland Playhouse, Ain't Misbehavin' at Stumptown Stages. In repertory at Defunct at the Backdoor Theater are Betty's Summer Vacation and Fewer Emergencies, The Jim Pepper Project at Triangle Productions, The Last 5 Years at Portland Center Stage, Learn to be Latina at Miracle Theater, Little Red Riding Hood at Northwest Children's Theater, Maple and Vine at Coho Productions, Private Lives at Bag and Baggage, and Showboat at Lakewood Theater plays through June 8th that we just reviewed. If you have a production that you would like included in our calendar, email the details to calendar@fiveuselessdegrees.org.
Can we end the show now?
No.
Please.
No.
Well, what else do you have?
More to drink?
This is 5 Useless Degrees and a Bottle of Scotch. My name is James Engberg.
And I am Eric Kilgore.
I quit.
Slancha.
Five Useless Degrees and a Bottle of Scotch is a production of Studio 5 UDBS and is powered by whiskey.
Our producer is Haggis the Pete Bog Jones.
You can visit our website at 5uselessdegrees.org, where you can leave us a voicemail, leave us a comment, or you can email us at dearlushes@fiveuselessdegrees.org.
Slancha.
Feeling thirsty.